The following presentation was made possible by the Alltech Media Group, a Southern California multimedia company providing exponential branding and marketing services to all their clients. The Alltech Media Group understands the value of the 3W strategy, providing their clients proven, trackable results. Let us make it easy for you to grow your business. Visit alltechmedia.com.
Hello and welcome to Southern California CEO Magazine. I'm your host, Jamar Brown. We recently attended the WRCOG Advancing the Choice Conference. The purpose of the conference was to bring together the best minds and ideas in the field of energy in order to get out in front of the growing need for alternative fuels and energy in the Riverside County area. We spoke with several CEOs, elected officials, board members, and consumers about the importance of the Advancing the Choice Conference. Hello, we're here with Rick Bishop at the Advancing the Choice Expo. Rick, how are you doing?
Great, how are you doing?
Excellent, thanks a lot for your time. And I know that the theme for this event is Advancing the Choice. Can you tell me what that really means?
Well, what it really means is we're looking at the future here in Western Riverside County. This is an area that's going to grow by 800,000 people over the course of the next few decades. And so our executive committee at WRCOG has identified a real strong need for us to be looking holistically at public health and energy and transportation all together, all holistically, and develop approaches for implementing programs that are going to increase our economic vitality, particularly as it pertains to public health. And so the Advancing the Choice event is a way for us to sort of set this in motion, to make constituents, elected officials, people in Western Riverside County aware that in order for Western Riverside County to be a real player on a world stage in the future, that it's important that we create healthy communities. And the Advancing a Choice event is one way of doing that by highlighting the different kinds of alternative fuels and alternative fuel infrastructure that's going to be needed in place to serve our growing population.
Hello, we're here with Dr. Ron Loveridge, former mayor of Riverside. And I wanted to start off by talking about the theme of this year's event, Advancing the Choice. What does that really mean?
Well, this is the 14th year of this expo, and I think what they intended to do is to sort of identify kind of opportunities and best practices. And the field of energy, the field of fuels is continually changing. Funding is continually changing. There are a lot of choices, and so this is an effort to try to listen to the best of information and try to advance the individual choices, particularly cities, are going to make in this region. And it's, from my view, it's what is taking place here is not just another meeting, but it really is a statement of this region's interest in clean air, this region's interest in being a leader. Just read a survey, people who do survey of electric cars. They identified 5 places in the country where they expect significant electric sales, and 4 of them are in California. 1 is New York City, but we're one of the 5 places they're looking to in the country that's going to be a major place where electric vehicles or electric power is used.
Hi, I'm Jamar Brown, and I wanted to welcome Ben Boanoite to the program. Ben, how are you doing today?
Very good.
And Ben, I know that you are here for a couple of reasons. Number one, as a consumer, but also in your current role. Can you tell me what are some things about the conference that has really excited you?
One thing that excited me a lot at the last panel is there's so many choices out there, so many different avenues of people to be able to go down and make a decision, not only to be green, but also be green in their pocketbook. One thing we're hearing a lot with the CNG and propane cars is how much the difference in cost is. If you have a fleet where you can switch over to some of your cars to propane or to natural gas and save quite a bit of money on that fueling source, and also at the same time you have a much cleaner fleet. From AQMD perspective, this is a win-win. Without having to do much, we can incentivize this a little bit and maybe hopefully move more fleets that direction and really get a win in the person's pocketbook. And in a lot of ways, that's the better way and the easier way to get some great attainment and reach our attainment goals and have much cleaner burning cars or or a car that may be electric where the burning is actually happening outside of the air district. So we're always constantly at the air district trying to figure out how to reduce the emissions for the entire fleet and all the cars around us and all the heavy-duty vehicles. It's another thing that's nice to hear is the heavy-duty vehicles are being looked at, especially by propane and natural gas again. We're hearing that in our waste haulers. Our waste haulers are moving towards CNG or natural gas, and that's a huge improvement for just even our basic neighborhoods and around our cities. When that trash truck comes around to pick up your trash, it's not generating more trash in the air right there in front of your house.
Right. Hello, we're here with Derrick Engel, and Darren is one of the panelists today. Tell me about your main focus at this year's conference.
Well, I represent the propane auto gas industry, and one of the things that most people don't know about propane auto gas, it is the most widely used alternative fuel in the world. About 18 million vehicles worldwide run on propane auto gas, and so there's countries like Turkey and Poland that you have about 3 million vehicles each that run on them, but here in the United States we only have 142,000 vehicles that run on propane auto gas. It's probably one of the best kept secrets because when it comes to the economics for a fleet play, we can reduce the fuel costs over conventional gasoline and diesel by about 50%. Can you imagine what that would do for a fleet customer if you could reduce your bottom line on your fuel by 50%? So not only is it a green alternative fuel, but it allows us to make economic sense and have an economic impact to a company or a fleet.
And then what are some of the reasons why, I mean, because it sounds like there's a significant economic benefit, what are some reasons why it is such a secret? Why isn't it out there, more out there in the public?
Well, because we really don't have a whole lot of money to market it like some of the other alternative fuels. We're not the glamour boys. We've been around since, first propane vehicle was converted was back in 1913. So we've been around for about 100 years. And there was a bad period in the 70s and 80s where we were first, one of the first alternative fuels, and then technology changed and the EPA came in, put computers on vehicles, and we didn't have a solution for that. And we kind of faltered as a technology. The rest of the world continued to develop that technology, and now it's coming back to the United States. So we have a very good technology. I mean, I would say that the difference between the technology of the 80s with propane auto gas and now is the same technology that's in your cell phone. I mean, the old cell phones in the 80s were massive. I could run a country with this thing. So the same kind of technology is developed in the alternative fuels and specifically in the propane segment as well.
In terms of propane auto gas, for those that don't quite understand what it is, can you just give me a brief summary of what it is specifically?
Yeah, propane auto gas is the word we call propane when it's used as a motor vehicle fuel. So that same propane that heats your home, cooks your food, heats your water is the same fuel source that could power your vehicle, and it has been doing so since, like I said, 1913. It's a very dense, it's a very mobile fuel source, so it's easily to be converted to a transportation type of a platform.
Hello, we're with Elon Shore from the California Fuel Cell Partnership. Elon, how are you doing today?
Good, excellent.
Thank you very much. And we were talking a couple seconds ago, and I just said, for some people that may not even know what a fuel cell is, can you please describe that?
Sure. A fuel cell electric vehicle is an electric vehicle, and that means it has an electric motor on board. Mm-hmm. So it's electricity that moves the wheels. People are usually familiar with plug-in electric vehicles, which have an onboard battery that they charge with electricity. A fuel cell vehicle works differently. You fill the vehicle with hydrogen, and onboard the vehicle is a fuel cell, and that's kind of like a miniature power plant. What it does is it takes the hydrogen and converts it into electricity onboard the vehicle that then drives the motor. The vehicles, the great thing about them, they produce zero emissions. The only thing that comes out of a fuel cell vehicle is a little bit of water vapor. And they take about 5 to 7 minutes to fill up, and they go up to 350 miles on a single tank. So the concerns about range anxiety aren't there, and again, it's a zero-emission vehicle.
Wow, sounds very interesting. Now, tell me about the difference between a fuel cell vehicle, an electric vehicle, and a traditional gas motor vehicle. Are the benefits and some of the differences?
Well, conventional internal combustion engine uses gasoline. It burns the gasoline. Those vehicles are, at their best about 20 to 25% energy efficient. That means, that's the amount of energy that actually goes to move the wheels. When you're talking about an electric drive vehicle, and that's a plug-in electric or a fuel cell electric, you're talking about 50 to 70% efficiency. So they're much more efficient vehicles. And again, a pure electric vehicle like the Nissan Leaf or the Tesla or a fuel cell vehicle will produce zero emissions out of the tailpipe. Okay. So any other vehicles will produce some emissions. These are the only ones right now that produce absolutely nothing.
We are here with Ike Bootsma, the mayor of the new city of Eastvale. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very fine. Very good.
Great. Ike, one of the things that I notice about the city of Eastvale is how well planned it is. And with this event here with discussing clean air and clean fuel, a big part of the success of that is going to be the infrastructure to support these new ideas. Can you speak to that in terms of your area?
Well, actually, we're just getting started. We do our strategic plan, and we're developing the different ways that we can make the city available for all the citizens of the Eastvale. Okay. Like looking at plug-in opportunities, setting up charging stations. Mm-hmm. I'm on the RTA board. RTA board is completely CNG. So, it's trying to clean up the air because the city of Eastvale or our area has trouble with, pollution in the air and everything like that. And I've lived there since 1974, and I've seen what just the progress that's been made before we became a city to reduce the levels of pollution in Eastvale.
What are some of the key programs or things that the coalition does to help attain that goal?
Well, some of our major programs are we look for funding from the California Energy Commission, from the Department of Energy, writing grants to help our jurisdictions pay for infrastructure, alternative fuel infrastructure, and to purchase alternative fuel vehicles, on-road and off-road as well. Because a lot of our fleets, they also use off-road vehicles as well.
And it sounds like, that goal requires a partnership between businesses, the community, government. Can you speak in terms of how those different organizations and individuals can work together to help your organization achieve its goal?
Well, with the coalition, especially this year, we're starting to diversify, and because greenhouse gas emission reduction is so important in every area, not just fuels, healthy communities, public health. We are starting to work with more agencies to create a collaborative effort to reduce not only greenhouse gas emissions, not only to reduce the use of petroleum, but to also emphasize the importance of clean air for our communities as well, for our future generation, and especially for our elders, who a lot of our elders have a lot of chronic health, breathing, respiratory problems.
Hello, we're with Jim McKinney from the California Energy Commission. Jim, thanks a lot for your time and speaking with us today. We've heard a lot of different talks today about resources and ideas and technologies for clean air, clean fuel, and healthy communities. And what I'd like to do with our time is to kind of bring it all together. So from your perspective with the Energy Commission, how are you approaching all this information?
Mm-hmm. No, it's really important, and it's a great set of questions. So our program in Sacramento at the California Energy Commission, really our mandate is to provide the seed funding to develop infrastructure for the future. So the vehicles of the future, the trucks of the future, the fuels of the future. So that can be E85 stations, it can be biodiesel, it can be electricity at a truck hub or in the residence of a person, and it can be natural gas. So it's really the main fuel types we have now, and then hydrogen is coming in the next few years. So again, there's a residential component, there's kind of an urban component in the commercial districts, then there's an industrial component with the different truck fleets.
We have a very special guest with us right now, Karen Spiegel. Karen, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. Thanks a lot for coming out to the conference and taking some time to speak with us today. One of the things I wanted to talk with you about, since you're involved in the community in so many different areas, in terms of this conference, tell me what's the significance of the information that's being shared today?
Well, the conference is directed not only at elected officials, but also our staff and people that make decisions. And they have the gathering of the information for the people who make decisions. And that's what's really important, is to have the information. When we make decisions, sometimes if you don't have all the information, you're not making a good decision. So this is what it's about, is giving us information.
Hi, I'm very excited to be speaking with Todd Hill. He was one of the panelists today. And Todd, I was listening to your talk, and I was really impressed with what you were talking about, and one of the things you were discussing was the importance of making change today. Can you speak to that, please?
Absolutely. I think that all of us now have realized that we're feeling the effects of climate change, the impacts of climate change today. It's one of the things that we might have been debating about it 20 or 30 years ago, but everyone knows that the summers are different, the winters are different. What's happening is something that is never happened to us before. We have technologies in place, and in this case it's fuel technologies, biodiesel, ethanol. These technologies actually can make an impact in the amount of greenhouse gases we produce today. They're viable today. Although I support every alternative technology, I support the use of all of them, and they all have a place in our future. The reality is that we need to make change today, and so we need to use those tool sets that we have today to make those changes.
According to Rick Bishop, director of WRCOG, the population of the Riverside County area is going to grow by 800,000 people in the next few decades. So the time is now to develop the alternative fuel choices and infrastructure to support the growing needs of the community. By hosting conferences such as Advancing the Choice, WRCOG is taking a very proactive step to ensure the long-term economic vitality of the Riverside County area. I'm Jamar Brown, and I want to thank you for watching this edition of Southern California CEO Magazine.
The following presentation was made possible by the Alltech Media Group, a Southern California multimedia company providing exponential branding and marketing services to all their clients. The Alltech Media Group understands the value of the 3W strategy, providing their clients proven, trackable results. Let us make it easy for you to grow your business. Visit alltechmedia.com.